Hey everyone, welcome back with Being on Mac, where today we are going to continue our playthrough of Plants vs. Zombies Replanted on the Nintendo Switch. And of course we're going to start a new level type here. We got the roof. Yes, as you can see here by what Dave is explaining here. These are some really desperate zombies. They couldn't get into my house because the front lawn and the backyard were too well guarded, but somehow they managed to find a way to get on my roof. So I don't know. I got side yards. Yeah, I don't know. Only thing I can think of. Which, I mean, you'd think at that point they'd be able to just kind of like get over the fence and just kind of slip around, you know, the defenses. But once again, like just kind of like in last episode, I'm asking a lot of questions that I shouldn't really be asking when it comes to this game. So that said, though, the roof levels are pretty interesting. I feel like it's the least used level type in the game as well. But this is actually like the last set of levels that we're going to do for adventure mode. And, you know, we got a new zombie type, of course, you know, as usual. That guy who was hanging from, I don't even know what. That's the bungee zombie, and he sucks. Yeah, he's just a pain in the ass. He'll just come down and steal one of your random plants, and the issue with that really is the fact that it seems like, for me anyway, like if it's an explosive plant or something like that, you can get rid of them easily. But I feel like there are times where you can have like, you know, 2 or 3 plants attacking him at once, and it's still just not enough, and it's really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. But now, instead of regular, you know, plants, pea shooters and stuff like that, we have to use these catapults, you know, like it's the whole design of the roof levels, you know, we have to use catapults, otherwise it's just not going to work out for us. And, you know, I remember when I first did this, it was very, 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 very difficult for me to readjust it. I was actually on track to being the first person in my family to successfully defeat or beat Plants vs. Zombies, but this is kind of what stalled me. And it's just because, like, I swear to God, the catapults take longer to hit their target than, you know, regular pea shooters and stuff like that. I remember for the longest time I tried the strategy of just putting the pea shooters up, because like in that open area there, that's all you know, flat land, whereas behind it is where all the curvature really lies. Yes, I use that term, the curvature. And you know, the flat land, you can actually put whatever you want there and they'll take it. I mean, I can't do anything about it, Mr. Bungee Zombie. But when you're in the flat land, you can put any plant you want. It's just, unfortunately, it's so close to the start that it's really tough to maintain anything there. I guess yeah, it's usually good for regular zombies, but once you get to the cone heads, yeah, you're not going to really be able to keep anything there in the flat lands. But pretty good for survival, though, if you want to, you know, to put the flat plants there once you have enough sun to kind of really get something good there. You know, I like to put repeaters and stuff there. And as you can tell, too, we have to have these plants, plant pots, to be able to, yeah, see, like right there, that's pretty awesome, you know, use of the chomper to be able to get that bungee zombie. But obviously, you know, they kind of go to random spots, so you can't really telegraph where they're going to head. But yeah, you need the flower pots to be able to plant these guys, and we don't get that yet for obvious reasons, because you have to have the catapult first, so we should be getting him that this level here. Alright, yep, flower pot. Which apparently itself is a plant, right? They put it's very, very tough to see it, but there is a little face on him, I believe. Kind of like he's just the lily pad and stuff. But realistically, other than that, the curvature, it is just the fact you have to put everything in a pot on the roof levels. But, you know, it's just enough interesting stuff to kind of you know, make the roof levels different and interesting in my opinion. I feel like I said, I think they're kind of underutilized, but we're gonna actually go for see if we can do the strat, get anything on there, you know, for, well, oh, alright, well, that may not have been a good idea, but it might be early enough to where, I can kind of successfully pull this off, actually. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm trying something different here. Alright, we got the rake. We need the rake, you know. I'm not going to rely on it too often in these levels. I'm not going to lie. I've used them for quite a few. But I don't really want it to be to where, you know, like, you know, people attribute my wins, my victories to, just using the rake and stuff. But we got a full, you know, thing here, you know, that's good. You can use those too just for, you know, instant death traps and stuff. Oh boy. Oh no. Well, we got the squash. Let's see here. Come on, baby, come on. The pumpkins also really help with it too. And we're actually gonna put the torch wood in instead. Oh boy, see, yeah, they're kind of just coming too fast. Let's see here. I think this could work. I really do. I think it's still early enough in the game to be able to do it. I could be wrong too, but I feel like I've never seen any of the Bungie zombies actually go for anything in the flat zone, is what I'm gonna call it. But I'm kind of trying to save. Yeah, I'm trying to save it for when we get the cone heads, just so that way we can put the torch wood there. But might as well put him since we got that pumpkin there. You know, he'll be nice and safe there. Oh boy, that wasn't really a good idea. That's not gonna be enough. That's not gonna be enough. Oh boy. All right, there we go. Ooh, cone head. Come on, you spud bastard. Grow! We got the squash just in case, but, come on. Ooh, alright. Yeah, we'll put that there. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, and the walnut's pretty good, you know, for the cone heads we want to worry. Oh, my lord. I did not notice. Oh, no, oh, no. Yeah. I did not notice that we had the, those wannabe athletes, man. The freaking pole vaulters. That's, yeah. That's gonna be a tough one. Man, you see, even then, man. Like, those guys are so much stronger than you would think. Because they're like, you know, I mean, he was getting shot for quite a while and he still wasn't dead. Alright. Yeah, even then he got hit with like the torch wood and everything. He's still not losing his arm. He's not even at half health. Wait a minute. Is that going past him? I can't tell. I think it is. I think it's legitimately going past him. This is insane. But then how did he lose his arm? Oh my. The pole vaulting's on. There's so like some sort of weird glitch or something associated with them. Because they should not. Like, they jump over people. Oh man, this is actually falling apart. I'm not gonna lie. This is falling apart very, 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 very quickly. Oh, come on, baby. Yeah, he like ended up like halfway to where like he wasn't getting hurt. He did it again! Oh my goodness. And it's not even because like, oh, my strategy really failed. I mean, it would have anyway, but it's not even just the fact that like my strategy failed. It's the fact that like it's failing because the game is glitching. This isn't making a lick of sense. Yeah, this is nonsense. I can't believe what's going on here. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh boy, and I think that he has to eat the pumpkin before he even... Alright, we got the walnut, I guess, at least. Man, if I only had... Like, it's 5 lanes again, which I guess is cool, but man, if I only had a little bit more room. Oh my goodness, this is... Yeah, that's not even gonna work. Bucket heads, man, this is only the 2nd level. I mean, I'm also a massive moron for not... for not putting down the, you know, the freaking catapults. But man, I was trying to do something a little different here, folks. A little innovative for you. I don't know, he's just gonna have to get hit with the roof cleaner, I'm not gonna lie. If I just had a little more time, if it wasn't for those stupid pole vaulters, man, I would be able to just... Yeah. If it wasn't for the pole vaulters, man, I literally would be able to... Like, I wouldn't have an issue here. I would have enough time to where I would have just been able to place all the torch woods down, and I think that would have been enough for the most part, right? Then I could have just put some more focus on putting, you know, planterns in front of, I don't even know if that's what they're called. The flower pots, whatever. I could have put them in front of the torch woods and, you know, I could have put more pumpkins down. I could have put more walnuts down while giving, you know, adequate enough damage to be able to defeat the bucket heads, man. But those pole vaulters. And now my whole playstyle is ruined, man. The best I have for that one... The best I have for that one part of it is literally just that squash down there. But now I gotta figure out something for over here. Oh boy, and we got this Jagaloon here, but at least we got the spud for that, I guess. But I don't know, man. This is an absolute disaster. Yeah, that guy's not surviving. I mean, I guess by the time those guys reach the end, I'll be able to you know, take out the whole clan there, I guess. But yeah, this was definitely, I was trying to be cool and stunt on everybody. This was definitely a complete failure of a level, guys. I'm not gonna lie. If Plants vs. Zombies, the game, wasn't actually really so forgiving, then... I mean, I should theoretically be... Is he even eating that? I don't know, I think he is, yeah. What a disappointment, though. Plants vs. Zombies, the game, you know, it wasn't such a forgiving game. I would have lost this level. Yeah, I thought that pumpkin was gonna last a little bit longer, but poor guys, I'm sending them out to die. We got him. Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's about time for question of the day here, folks. First, you know, our question of the day here. You know, if I could be serious for 1 freaking minute. Question of the day. What do you think is the best horror game? Not game. Horror movie, actually. You know, there's lots of them. You know, there's even different types. You know, you got the classic monster movies, or you got the slasher films, you know? Or there's even the psychological horror films, you know? Not too long ago, we had The Back Rooms and Obsession come out, and I believe those are both, you know, the psychological. Also, you know, you have the classic slashers, you know, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. I always used to... For the longest time, I always used to call Freddy... Before I watched the movies, I thought... I always used to call him Freddy Cougar. I used to call him Freddy Cougar. Not Freddy Krueger. It wasn't until my buddy corrected me on it. I don't know, I'm such an idiot, but... Yeah, before I even watched the movies, I used to think it was Freddy Cougar, so... yeah, then you have, you know, Friday the 13th with, you know, Jason and stuff like that. You have the Ring. You know, that's... I don't think that's... I think that's more of a monster movie, really. The Ring. You also have... you know, obviously, like I said, the classics, you know... Nosferatu. You know, The Mummy. Frankenstein. The Bride of Frankenstein. Because, I mean, even... some dead guy needs a wife, you know, because, I mean, necrophilia or something, you know, that's great. And a lot of people, apparently, I don't know, I think it's more commonly known nowadays, but for the longest time, people didn't seem to know. I think it's even just kind of common knowledge to this day still that it's actually, you know, for the longest time, especially in the original films, it was actually just Frankenstein's monster. Because it was Dr. Frankenstein who made him. It wasn't Frankenstein, wasn't the name of the monster. I think, like I said, I think especially with the internet, it's kind of just a lot more common knowledge now. But I still think that a lot of people don't quite know that. Which is interesting, you know. And, you know, Dracula's a good classic one, you know. Vampire villains and stuff like that, you know, I think they're very interesting. I mean, they were pretty cool and, you know, badass, and then we got Twilight, and yeah, you know how it goes. But as you can see, this is how a roof level is supposed to go. I mean, if I had to pick my favorite horror movie, boy, that'd be a tough one. Because to be honest with you, I'm not really much of a horror guy. It's just that, you know, I figured, you know, with Plants vs. Zombies, it kind of fit with the theme. But, 28 Days Later. You know, I think 28 Weeks Later is also a really good one. I have not seen 28 Years Later, though, I'll be honest with you. Sinners. That's also a really good, vampire horror movie. Obviously, that had a little more elements to it, but, you know, I think it was still a horror movie, definitely, by far, for sure. But that was a really good one, in my opinion. I thought it was a pretty entertaining movie, an entertaining time. Oh, boy, yeah, there's the ladder zombie. If we had a mushroom, we could deal with him, but we don't. I love how, like, just when he loses his arms, I mean, his ladder, he just kind of loses the use of his arms for some reason. Yeah, we're not gonna get to that guy, but yeah, you can use the chili pepper to burn off his ladder. I don't know, I guess, I mean, the Resident Evil movie, the first two, like I mentioned in an earlier video, I actually do kind of like. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not really much of a horror guy, but I think probably just because of the games. And I do think the first Resident Evil game was... the first Resident Evil movie was actually halfway decent, you know. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't really even the ideal Resident Evil movie, but I think it was more even action than anything. But, like, I think at that time it kind of still worked a little bit. But, yeah, I gotta go with, the first Resident Evil movie, I suppose. And I would still count that as a horror movie, you know. I mean, we get some pretty freaky moments in that one. The first one, anyway. I think it would have made, like, a pretty decent standalone movie, in my opinion. But the other ones, yikes. You know, I watched a little bit of, like, Extinction. I forget, there was, like, I think the fourth one I watched was kind of Cheeks. I did not end up watching the final chapter, but I was not really interested. I have not seen the newest Resident Evil that's going to be coming out either, so... I don't know, I mean, it seems like that's, I don't really know what to expect. I think it's from, like, a famous horror director, but, it doesn't really come across as very Resident Evil to me. But I don't know, I don't really understand. I think if they just kind of, like, took the time to really actually have, like, a full budgeted movie to adapt you know, something of the games, right? Like, I get it, the idea, you know, okay, you play through the game so you get the story there. There's a lot of people who are not going to witness the story. It's a great story, you know. I think Resident Evil is it's really goofy, B-horror stuff, but I think it's still just really entertaining stories that I think could appeal to a mass audience if they were given a chance in theaters and stuff. But, I don't know. I'm not the one who makes the money for that kind of stuff or makes the decisions, so it is what it is. Maybe someday. I think Resident Evil Outbreak would probably be the best one they could adapt, just because there's so many holes that the games themselves kind of created with the scenario system they made, and like none of the levels really being connected. So I don't know. I think it would also just be interesting. They could have that kind of like, oh well, you know, we want original character stuff type deal. So I feel like that could work best. Man, a football zombie? Jeez. They're really throwing the heavy artillery out here, folks. But, that said, I mean, we got the coffee bean, which allows us to use any mushroom that we want. However, that's still kind of a steep price. And we're going to need those for the defense. And what's interesting is, I think, with the ladder zombie, if you were to encase a tall nut in a pumpkin, they'll put the ladder on the pumpkin first, then I think they have to put the ladder on the tall nut as well, but I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, like Plants vs Zombies is cool because a lot of plants, not a lot, but quite a few plants actually have secondary uses that you won't really think about right away, but you'll find that they, you know, like I said, they have alternate uses. So for example, the chili pepper, right? It outright states to you that you can actually, you know, use it to destroy an entire lane, but also melt the ice of the Zamboni, right? It doesn't tell you that you can also use it to get the ladder off of the, you know, any, you know, walnuts or tall nuts or whatever the heck you want, you know? So that's something like, you know, you just kind of figure out through playing the game. So that's really cool in my opinion, you know? It's a bonus. It's kind of like rewarding the player for experimenting, or, you know, just, hey, you happen to use it, figure it out type deal. That's how it worked for me. Another thing is I didn't use it, but I actually found out after the fog levels that the torchwood, you know, that uses to get double damage for your pea shooters and stuff like that, actually doubles as like essentially a lantern, and it's not as good as the lantern, I believe, but you know, it lights up the fog if you put it in there. So I think that's a really cool you know, fact of this as well. There's other ones like I'm blanking on, of course. I already mentioned the torchwood, how like obviously it melts the snow piece, so it turns into a regular piece, and then you can't freeze people with it. And if there's zombies are frozen and they get hit with the, you know, torchwood, it, you know, turns them back to normal instead of, you know, reverses the slowdown because they're not frozen anymore. But you know, like I said, I think, you know, there's definitely a lot of secondary uses. I have to wonder, you know, just how many there are like that. But I know there are definitely a few alternate uses for plants. Alright, we gotta get that tall nut there. Boy, and we got 3 waves this level. Goodness. Goodness me, oh my. Oh no, this might. Alright, yeah. I'm a moron. I literally put that magnet shroom there and I was still thinking, man, that frickin' jerk on the pogo is gonna get us. We're gonna have to definitely make some more room for the more magnet shrooms we're gonna need. Alright, that said though, I mean that's 200 sun just to get the you know, the pot, the magnet and the freaking coffee bean. So it's definitely not cheap, fellas. That's for sure. I love how the pogo zombie just essentially looks like a hipster for some reason. I don't have to wonder, like, it's just one of the employees at PopCap, just like, they came up with the idea because they just seem like some 20-year-old, like, hipster dude just, like, on a pogo stick or something like that, or... I wonder what the story behind that is. Oh, another alternate use for a plant you don't think about, right? Catapult zombies, right? There's the snorkel zombies that go underneath the, you know, pea shooters, and pea shooters don't even react to them. Put a catapult plant in the water, they can kill the snorkel zombies. So, yeah, you know, like I said, there's, if you kind of use your head a little bit, use your head if you know how, and you know, you can find some alternate uses for plants that you don't really think about that are really cool. And you know, even then, even if it's not alternate uses, you can still come up with some pretty creative strategies to, you know, dominate certain levels. You know what I mean? All right. I just wish I had a little more sun, or sun opportunities here. There is something that we can buy that I'll actually upgrade, but I haven't really got the cash flow for that yet. I'm not really sure, because there's so much stuff you gotta buy in the game, and so much stuff that you don't unlock until later on in the game. And I kind of want, I'm not really sure exactly what I want to spend my moolah on, you know, especially since it's so difficult to earn it at this point just playing the game. We'll eventually unlock, I think it's actually this level. We are going to unlock the Zen Garden, and that's just like another side mode part of the game where you can just water plants, and they'll give you money for it and stuff like that. It's like the easiest way to earn money. Also, I kind of don't really have to worry about the pogo zombies too much, not only because of the magnet shrooms, but because I've got the, you know, the tall nuts, and they cannot make it over them. There we go. Now they can't really say nothing. I mean, we got 4 magnet shrooms. We got the tall nuts. Yeah, they got no shot. Especially since they don't have any of those bungee zombies, so they can't steal my freaking guys. But I'm telling you, if they went for one of my magnet shrooms, I'm still willing to bet that even with those 3 people, and even with the butter, you know, stopping the bungee zombies, I bet they could still get away with my freaking magnet shroom. That's just how powerful the freaking bungee zombies are, man. It's crazy. Yeah, the football zombies, it's amazing how quick they go once they lose their helmets. Alright, we just took care of that guy. Final wave. Let's see what you got, game. Let's see what you got. What else you got? Oh, no! Right on the magnet! Oh! God damn it. Even when they're not an active enemy, they still kick my... do something to irritate me. Gosh, I hate those freaking... bungee zombies, man. Butt munches. Alright, well, we still got it under control, but I'm just irritated. Yeah, there's a Zen Garden. So I'm gonna skip the all that explanation, though. It is pretty nifty, but you guys will never see that because it's actually one of the most boring parts of the game, really. It gets pretty exciting once you got a lot of plants, but I mean, it's only like a 5-minute activity every day anyway. But we'll be getting some more plants throughout the levels and stuff like that. I hate those confounded bungees too. Hate them with a passion. And a vengeance. A whoop-de-doo. Here come those idiots now. Yeah, Crazy Day is pretty, well, crazy. Wonder if that bird's ever gonna come back for those eggs. Yeah, this is a really weird level. It's literally just chompers and pumpkins, I believe. Yeah, it's probably one of the. It's probably, in my opinion, the absolute worst, like, halfway level. Like, I think they kind of just ran out of ideas at this point. But I don't know, I kind of felt the same. Like, walnut bowling, awesome. You know, vase breaker, awesome. Right? I'm trying to even think. What is the nighttime one? Oh yeah, whack a zombie. You know, simple, but once again, awesome. But like, it kind of got pretty like lame when they, you know, just had the short zombies come out. But at least they were kind of funny, and it was different enough, I suppose. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, they added a slight different elements to it, to where I could see like, okay, maybe this could work. But oh, I guess we get cherry bombs too. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like this one is just like they were kind of like, all right, what is something we can throw together? And it's just literally like a conveyor belt level with chompers. Like, okay, cool. It's not really hard, and not a lot of action that goes on. I mean, it's literally just one way to kill them, right? You know, they just get eaten. Plant more to eat more, and that's all she wrote, really, you know? So, I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this level, as you guys can tell. I don't know. Let's see how this wave works. Are they going to send more bungee zombies? Yeah. Oh, boy, that's a lot. Alright, well, we got most of them. Wait, what? Did that guy not eat the bungee zombie? Oh boy. I also don't really get the point of having multiple different zombie types. I guess it's just for variety's sake, but yeah, I don't really get the point, you know? Like, why do we have bucket and cone heads? They don't do anything. The ladder zombie, I guess I could see, because I mean, if you have you know, too many of those guys, you know, that have eaten in a row, then they could go over them, but I don't know. I'd like to put this down, but apparently they're faster than the chompers can bite, so I don't really want to remove any. That guy, oh, alright, I guess it's not just chili peppers that can take down the ladders and stuff. Guess it's just any explosion knocks it over. Alright, let's get a bomb going. Look at my boys, they're hungry. These are hungry men. There we go. Oh, what? How did it not get Conehead over there? Alright, well, let's put this, jeez, I don't even know. I mean, it's already pretty much full. Yeah, see, look at him. He's just chomping away. He just doesn't use his arms anymore for some reason. I think it's just because they didn't want... well, I mean, it's still a new animation, so I don't know what the deal is. But I guess it adds a little bit of a different personality to him, right? Alright, well, we got him. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this level, guys. So thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to check out next week's episode. But above all else, though, please remember to have a nice day.